Welcome to another episode of Chat Sports. Like you know, my name's Chad. Take a dive on sports, and welcome to NFL Week 14. This is going to be my pick and preview video. I kind of go over what I did last week, kind of give you my insights, how much that's worth into the upcoming games this weekend. Starting with the first matchup with the Raiders and Rams, and just kind of go on from there, providing little insights here and there where necessary. But before diving all that, if you could go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me, especially if you like content provider. Really pleases you two guys. Really help promote the channel out. You also subscribe. Let you guys review my work. Not many of you subscribe. This costs you a dime. It's me provide more entertainment value for you. Last week, I actually went 11-3-1. That's right. We had a tie last week with the Commanders and Giants. Who would have thunk? So I'm seeing if I can kind of go forward in that aspect as well. This is also going to be the last week of the buys, as the rest of the teams have yet to take it. So Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, Indianapolis, New Orleans, and Washington are all finally going to have their off week at the very last week of the season. Better late than never, I think. So much needed time off, but for the Falcons, that means Mariota is no longer QB1. He has now been benched for the rookie Ritter. If you don't remember who he is, he was the quarterback of the Bearcats when he went undefeated and actually became the first non-Power 5 conference school or non-Power 5 school to get into the playoffs. So you'll get the shot down in Atlanta next week. Give them time to go forward. So let's go ahead and just kick this week off with a game in Los Angeles between the Rams and the Raiders on Prime Video. As I broke earlier this week, Baker Mayfield has been claimed off of waivers from the Carolina Panthers to the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are still unsure if he's going to be able to play against the Raiders. If that doesn't happen, he's going to fall to third-string quarterback. And the way the Raiders are playing right now, and also the Rams are Cup's gone for the year. Donald will not be playing this week. The Raiders are just been flying right now with the love affair of Derek Carr and Devontae Adams rekindling their bromance from Fresno State. Where half the offense goes through Devontae Adams. And then Jacobs is actually the league leading rusher right now, over 1,300 yards. So the offense has a nice three-headed monster. The defense, not quite match that tenacity, but Max Crosby is a excellent defensive end right there for the Raiders. And all said and done, right now, Vegas is favored by 7 points in L.A., and as I pointed out, all the key things for the Raiders, some of the bad things for the Rams, there's just too many question marks right now with the Rams. They should make it at least competitive, at least defensive-wise. You still got Jalen Ramsey back there. But I don't see him being a one-on-one with Devontae too much, because it tend to go on schemes. You saw that last week with the Seahawks. He wanted to stay with DK Metcalf, but he stayed in his assigned area, and they can't move DK Metcalf around. You can find the same thing here, unless they decide to nope. Jalen, you stick with Devontae like white on rice, and that's it. But in this one, I don't see any issues for the Raider Nation to go back into L.A. and back to their former stomping grounds. They were there for many years, including a Super Bowl championship. And I see them coming out of L.A. victorious. I don't know by 7, but definitely the W. Then we head out to Western New York, where the Bills will play host to the Jets. And the Jets right now is just one of these teams they're not going to be easy out. That's definitely for sure. As long as, the receivers for the Jets actually make the catches that White throws to them, they should be all right. They should beat Minnesota last week, and they didn't. They couldn't connect in the red zone, and that's a key factor. The Bills' defense will lose Von Miller for the rest of the year. So the big catalyst that the Bills signed to try to help him get over that hump and get into the Super Bowl and possibly win one, as I kind of predicted myself, is now in question. There's a couple teams out there that could challenge that aspect, and you may know who they are, but you still have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs with their bromance going up there in Buffalo. And you still got Singletary in the backfield, but it's been kind of a split load really in the backfield with the Bills. And I guess Josh Allen does a lot of the running himself. Like I said, he's a fullback. He's built like a fullback, or he runs like a fullback. That's right. He's a linebacker that runs like a fullback but throws like a quarterback. The Jets defense is going to have a hard time containing any aspect of Josh Allen. Josh Allen will make mistakes. He has been doing that a lot lately, especially in the red zone. But if the Jets can't find their no-fly zone, get an answer for the no-fly zone in the red zone, it's going to be a long, long day. I have a feeling it will be a long day. The Bills right now favored by 9.5. There's no way that's going to happen. The Jets will definitely make this closer than 9.5, but I am taking Buffalo to win at home. We'll head back to the jungles of Cincinnati as the Bengals and Browns collide in the Battle of Ohio. Deshaun Watson made his return to a starting role last week in Houston. Very rusty, and that's evident for being out of the game for almost 2 years. But right now, Joe Burrow's numbers are up here. I mean, they are sky high. MVP caliber type season thus far from Joe Burrow. And the Bengals are just riding a good surge. I mean, they struggled early in the season, which they did last year as well. Let's keep that in mind. They're able to tweak and find replacements. Injury bugs have hit them. They found the next man up. Have taken over. T. Higgins has been at least Mr. Reliable for Joe Burrow. He's had a few drops, especially last week against the Chiefs. Surefire touchdown, and he just didn't catch it. Happens, but having Jamar Chase there as well, so two-headed threat at the receivers. It's going to be a good defensive battle between the two. Right now, Cincinnati's favored by 6. Because of the weapons Cleveland has on offense with Amari Toomer and Nick Chubb, Cleveland's going to make this different, make it closer. You have Myles Garrett on the defense as well for the Browns. So it could help counterweight a little bit the Bengals' offensive firepower. But the way that Bengal line is starting to protect Burrow, and it's giving them time to pick apart a defense, and you cannot do that with Joe Burrow. You have to get in his face to disrupt his timing in the passing attack that he can generate. I'm still taking Cincinnati, but I think it's going to be a 3-point victory. Into the Big D, where you have the Lone Star Showdown between the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not going to spend much time on this one because this is going to be like what happened in that final frame with the Colts. This is going to be a shootout, plain and simple. Cowboys favored by 17. Yeah, I think they'll cover that. I really do. This is not going to be a fun day for the Texans at all. Like I say, this is just going to be a slaughter, and Cowboys should win easily. Let's over to the Motor City, where the Vikings now come raiding into Detroit, take on the Lions to see if they can get a nice good win, and it's the North Division showdown. That's in case you don't know, the old NHL divisional setups had Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, and Toronto all in that same North Division, all that kind of like a North-style division. And they played each other very, very tightly. Physical matchups. This is basically what the NFC North is. That style of tenacity and bad blood between them. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. Minnesota looked vulnerable last week. Dallas showcased some issues and some chinks in the armor. Detroit against Jacksonville fired on all cylinders. Now, no, it is Jacksonville. It is not a top-tier team. So I'm not going to take that as, hey, the Lions are back. I'm not saying that. But if they can generate that style of commitment on both sides of the ball. What you saw last week is what Detroit is capable of doing this week. Jared Goff is over 3,000 yards right now in the air. I mean, he is being very efficient for the most part with the ball. It's just, the defense has coughed up a lot of points and make it a little difficult for the offense to come back. Offense does make mistakes. All offenses do. Like I said, Minnesota has shown some flaws in their system they're able to exploit. And I think Detroit is savvy enough to do this. But one of the things you have to watch out for, Minnesota is very good on the road right now. They're 4-1 away from their hunting grounds in Minnesota. Detroit's favored by 2 right now, and I kind of concur with that sentiment. I think Detroit is on the precipice of turning a corner, and this would be a key victory in that aspect against a very quality Minnesota team. Like I said, they've shown some issues. The Jets shouldn't beat them last week. And I think Detroit will succeed where the Jets failed. Then we head to Nashville, where the Jaguars come to town, take on the Titans. And these two clubs right now, it's kind of weird how they both end. The Titans just fired a general manager. I mean, that's just kind of weird that the general manager gets canned now during the season. I don't know, maybe because he didn't make any trades at the trade deadline. How Tennessee got embarrassed in Philadelphia. Probably because A.J. Brown was one of the players that they let go. He went to Philadelphia and he ended up scorching them. So I think that was kind of the reason why the GM got his pink slip in his stocking. And Jacksonville is a hungry team. And Trevor Lawrence is a very capable quarterback. The defense is showing signs that it can also step up and kind of meets the tenacity of the young offense. So it's a very young team. They will have their growing pains. Right now, Tennessee's favored by 4. This is going to be closer in that one. I think it's going to be like a 2-point victory between these two, but I will take the Titans edging. I think Derrick Henry, if he cannot establish the run, I think this game's over. But Derrick Henry needs to establish himself, which would take pressure off of Tannehill, and that should allow for that. I think Lawrence will definitely make a nice fourth quarter drive. I'll just come up short once again. But I just let you know that this team is on the rise and something to look out for later on. Then an NFC East showdown between the number 1 team in the league, Philadelphia Eagles, taking on the Giants, coming off of their tie with Washington. Still can't get over that one either. Also can't get over the fact that Philadelphia decimated Tennessee. I don't know. This one I went back and forth on, to tell you the truth. Why'd you do that? The Giants are just can't stack up with this. This is an NFC East showdown. Teams you don't expect to win end up winning. That just seems how this division kind of goes sometimes. It doesn't always work that way. And right now, Philadelphia's favored by 7. Everything's pointing to Jalen Hurts. He's got these MVP numbers. Of course, having A.J. Brown as your prime target does kind of help you. There's no question about that one. And he actually gets you with your legs, but he's becoming more and more of a pocket passer. More right now than he has been. But he'll still run when he has to, which I think, when you're dealing with a running quarterback, this is what you really want. You want him more of a presence inside the pocket, but the ability to be able to scramble to make plays with his feet, to either find a receiver open or just take what the defense gives him and run 5 yards, or maybe find a nice 15-yard run slide. That's exactly what you want from your running quarterbacks like this. You don't want to have them focus more on the running game and then go passing, because then it kind of deteriorates their ability a little bit later. And the way Phil's defense is kind of running, they shut down King Henry, but King Henry has been very inconsistent this year. Saquon Barkley has pretty much resurrected his career as well. He has over 1,000 yards total so far. I'm going to go on a limb. I'll say the G-Men squeaks out a 3-point victory against Philadelphia. I don't know. Like I said, it's just something about these two teams going at it. I don't know. Then I can also see Philadelphia just crushing Big Blue. I mean, I can see that. But I will go on a limb, take the Giants. But I won't be surprised if I lose this one quite handedly. Then we had the Steel City, where the Steelers will play host to the Ravens. The Ravens will be without Lamar Jackson. He will be out this week. Huntley has not been completely successful as a starter. They struggled mightily against Denver. It wasn't Huntley had this magical drive at the end of the game, gave him a 2-yard touchdown on the run that they had beaten the Broncos by a baseball score. Pittsburgh did a nice showing down in Atlanta, squeaking out a victory against the Falcons. And I have a feeling that this could be another one of those games where the Steelers will just edge the way. TJ Watt being back in there will help out. Huntley is what you consider a backup quarterback. He doesn't have the best abilities whatsoever, but he does have Andrews as his tight end, which seems to be the favorite target anyways for Lamar Jackson. So as long as he's able to find him, but if the Steelers are able to take away those type of passing attacks or limit the damage that way it's done, it should benefit the Steelers more, because I think Kenny Pickett will have the ability to be able to find ways to pick apart a defense. Najee Harris, if he's able to punish runners like he did in Atlanta, should be very advantageous here. But you still got Wilcon Smith on the linebacker core for the Ravens, so that's one aspect you got to try to neutralize. Right now, Steelers are favored by 2.5. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, and it's going to be close. I am taking the Steelers as well. I think it will be like a 2-3 point victory. Then up to Mile High, where the Broncos play host to their division rival Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes coming to town. Russ being the terrible trade decision that Elway did to get Russell Wilson, because he was looking to try to tap into another situation where you get a veteran quarterback on his last leg on his whole old team. Bring your men, getting back to the Super Bowl like they did with Peyton. It's not the case this year. Like I said, Russ is just not on the same page with his offense. He has this great energy coming in. It hasn't facilitated his playing ability on the field, and he's losing the team. He is not the leader of this team. This team does not really back his play. The new ownership group loves him. That's why they paid him, so much money. But they're not getting what they paid for. The Denver's defense is a highly caliber defense still. So they will give Mahomes and the Chiefs offense some trouble. But you're dealing with Mahomes. You can't give him time. You can't give him avenues. There's actually too many weapons right now in Kansas City. They don't have the big time threat like they used to in Tyreek Hill. But he has... The offense is what you would call, death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's just, there are so many different little things that this offense does that just decimates the defense. And you still have Travis Kelce. Right now, Kansas City's favored by 9.5. I think it will be closer in that one just because it's a divisional game. The defense is a little bit better in Denver. I think it'll probably at least be by 7, but I will take the Chiefs. Then we had the Santa Clara, where the 49ers play host to the Buccaneers. And then Brock Purdy will be making his first official NFL start, taking on the GOAT and Tom Brady. And it depends on which version the Buccaneers get. Depends on what happens here. If they get the version of the Buccaneers that played that last half of the fourth quarter last week against the Saints, the 49ers are in trouble. Because that team just played their butts off. Brady was making the throws he had to make. The defense made the stops they had to make the stops. I mean, it was just a phenomenal team effort towards the end of the game, coming back from a 16-3 deficit to end up winning that game. Or you have the other version of Brady that was the rest of that game where he couldn't find anyone. Well, he found him, but he couldn't throw it to him. He had threw him behind him, in front of him, over him. I mean, it was bad. But the Buccaneers defense was able to halt the Saints to field goals to touchdowns. The 49ers not the Saints. The 49ers have so many weapons that can get you. McCaffrey in the running attack, Ayuk, Kettle, and Deebo Samuels, as well as your receiving core. The only issue the 49ers have is the quarterback. This will be his Brock Purdy's first official start, but you look when he came into the game with the Dolphins. The Dolphins is no joke of a defense. He's able to withstand their pressure and make accurate throws and just shredded the Dolphins. I do not see an issue with Purdy's performance here either. Under Kyle Shanahan, this offense will run efficiently. Purdy's actually look like he is a competent quarterback. We'll see how this progresses throughout the rest of the season. I don't see an issue with this one. I will take the 49ers. Well, right now they're favored by 3.5. I think it will be closer than what a lot of people will want, but that's just because you have a third-string quarterback now leading the offense. But I will also go with the 49ers. Then we head up to the Emerald City, where the Seahawks play host to the Panthers, and you got Sam Darnold now, the QB1 out there at Carolina. PJ Walker is his backup. They jettisoned Baker Mayfield. The Seahawks are just looking at ways to continue winning. You still got Lockett and Metcalf as your key receivers. Geno Smith, like I said many times, has resurrected his career up there in Seattle. You still got Walker, who was a very young running back who's proving to be very valuable for the Seahawks offense. And I have no issues with Seattle with this game at all. Right now they're favored about 3.5. I think it'll probably be more than that one. I think it'd be like a 6-point victory, but I do see Seattle beating Carolina at home. Sunday night, we head back to LA. This time the Chargers are playing host to the Dolphins. You have a showdown between Tua and Herbert. And with these two offenses collide, which defense is going to elevate? Is it going to be Bosa and Mack for the Chargers, or will it be the Dolphins of defense that would make noise? And this is another game I went back and forth on, because which one's going to show up? The Chargers keep having these great games, and then they'll follow up with a bad performance, or to have a good performance and then just cough it up at the end. There's something just missing with this team that just they should have a better record. They should be on par at least with Miami. They should at least have 8 wins. I don't know. It's just one of these weird things. I mean, they had that weird game against Arizona. They had to come back in the fourth quarter to beat that. Then they stumbled against the Raiders. It's bad to see the Chargers doing this one. There's a lot of things that point that the Chargers should be a lot better than what they are. Right now, Miami's favored by 3.5. Chargers don't like playing at home. They're 2-3 at home. I don't know. If the Chargers can go after Tua like the 49ers did, and they are capable of that as well, because they have a Bosa as well. As well as Khalil Mack, if he can also be another threat as well. That's a two-headed monster from the Chargers front. They can get back there and disrupt Tua. And I think if that happens, the Chargers should win. And that's what I'm going with. I'm going with the Chargers, be able to get to Tua, disrupt them, make this West Coast trip for the Dolphins a bad one. And I will take the Chargers squeaking out a victory against the Dolphins, probably by like a 2-point version or margin, should I say. It's going to be close. It should be fun. It should be a very entertaining Sunday night game. Then Monday night, we head out to Glendale, Arizona, as the Arizona Cardinals play host to the New England Patriots. This is another one of these games I went back and forth on. And both these teams are not performing the levels that a lot of fans expected, especially for Cardinal fans if you look at what they did last year and compare it to this year. Two completely different teams, even though the personnel hasn't really changed. And then New England just had that awful performance against Buffalo, and it just didn't quite work. Arizona's defense is not the same caliber, but having a Watt on that defensive side as well should make things a little more interesting for Mac Jones. Right now, New England's favored by 1.5, which is almost a gimme or a pick'em game. And Arizona has played terrible at home. They cannot defend their own nest. 1-6 at home. I must be seeing red because I'm going to go with Arizona on this one. I don't know. This is just something that I think Kyler Murray needs to kind of beat, but the Cardinals going to have a hard time stopping Stevenson and the running attack by the Patriots. That's going to be a key factor right there. I think they have no issues dealing with Mac Jones. He's just on a sophomore slump, which is typical a lot of times with rookie quarterbacks. So I have no issues with that aspect, and I think that's what's going to be. It's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be like a 2-3 point victory, but I will give it to the Cardinals. There you go. Those are my picks. We'll see how things kind of play out this week. And like I said, I went on a few stretches on this one, and I realized I picked almost every single home team except for 2. That's not going to end well for me. But hey, let me know down below what you think of my picks. Which game you're looking forward to watching. Like I said, that Sunday night game between the Dolphins and Chargers should be very entertaining. I think the Jets and Bills should be another good one as well. While you're down there, if you go ahead, hit that thumbs up once again. You can also share the video with friends and family. It helps build this channel out. Once you subscribe, make sure you click that bell and turn on notifications so next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.